Hey there, and welcome back to Discover What You Were Born to Do. I'm so glad you're here with me. This week, we'll investigate your innate navigational system, both how it works and how to incorporate it into your decision making toolkit. When I learned these tools, it finally gave me a way to organize the things I knew deep down. It also gave me confidence in my decision making because now I had reliable ways to test and validate my thoughts and feelings. I'm really looking forward to sharing these tools with you, and I trust that they'll be useful for you as you learn to tap into your own inner wisdom. As we get started, let's take a look at our roadmap and review what we've done so far and where we're going. Remember, to find work that matters to you, you need to know three things. The first is who you are, the second is how to make decisions that are aligned with who you are, and the third is what you want. And here's where we are on the roadmap. Last week, we talked about stepping into the role of personal leadership and adopting the mindset of CEO of your career. This week, we'll talk about how to use your inborn navigational system, that internal GPS designed to help you make decisions. Next week, we'll talk about how to determine what part of your mind is driving your decisions, you or your instincts. And in week 8, we'll talk about what's driving your decisions, you or your social programming. Before we do the breathing exercise today, I want to check in with your survival brain. The discussion we had last week about seeing yourself as the leader of your career can really stir up a lot of conflicting feelings. This mindset can be a major change in the way we think and operate, and with major changes often comes major pushback from your survival instinct. The idea of being a leader might feel overwhelming or like you're not ready or you're not qualified. And while those feelings are real and normal, they don't reflect your true capacity. No matter who you are leadership material. If you're feeling resistance, I invite you to take a closer look at that feeling and see what it's really trying to tell you. One thing to check is where you are on the continuum of change. Are you on the edge of growth or are you past it? Has our work together brought up some internal conflict that you need help resolving? If so, what can you do to get help with that resolution? Maybe you need to add a few more activities that help you self-regulate, like being in nature or doing some kind of movement. Resistance isn't a signal that you should stop working toward your dreams or that they're not possible. It also doesn't mean that you aren't leadership material. But the signals you're getting do need attention so you can stay in that sweet spot on the edge of growth without overwhelming your system. So to help your nervous system regulate right now, let's do the breathing exercise to help you move into a parasympathetic or rest and digest state. Today, during the breathing exercise, you can keep your eyes open or closed. It's up to you. You can even do the exercise while you're walking around. Remember, it's designed to be used in the midst of a challenging moment, so it can be helpful to practice it in real-life situations. Let's begin. Wherever you are, bring your awareness into your body. Take a couple of slow, deep breaths. Now gently even out your inhale and your exhale. Nothing extreme, it should feel natural to your body. If you lose track of the breath pattern, just gently come back to the task at hand and even out your inhale and your exhale. As your breath becomes even and as you feel ready, elongate your exhale. Again, nothing extreme, just a little bit longer than your inhale. I'm going to hold you here for one more minute to practice, but I want you to listen to your body and only stick with the pattern as long as it's comfortable for you. You'll hear some music in the background so you know I'm here, and at the end of 1 minute, I'll let you know. You can let go of the breathing pattern and come back into a regular breath. Now that you're in a relaxed state, I want you to imagine your ideal workday. For this scenario, you're at a point in your career where you're able to choose the environment you work in. As you wake up and open your eyes for the day, notice where you are. What are your physical surroundings like? As you get ready for the day, notice the objects and fabrics you touch and feel. As you head to work, notice how you get there. Do you take a bus or drive in a car? Do you walk? What's the weather like? Is it warm and sunny, rainy and cool, snowy and cold, or something in between? As you arrive at work, notice where you are. What are your physical surroundings like? Are you on an outdoor job site or are you in an office? As you do your work, notice if you're in one place all day or if you're moving around. Are you in the same office every day or do you travel? As you head back into your personal life, notice how you get there. Are you driving in heavy traffic or are you walking home on a quiet street? Maybe you're just walking out of the office in your home. Notice where you spend the rest of your day. Are you outside or inside? Are you at home or out in public? As you start winding down the day, notice what the room you sleep in looks like. Is it spacious or cozy? Is there furniture? What does your bedding feel like? And as you close your eyes, I want you to feel the appreciation about where you got to spend your day. I want you to feel the satisfaction and freedom of being able to choose the environment that suits you and brings out your best. Great. You can take a deep breath and come back into the present moment. When you consciously daydream about the work life you want, you get to explore the small but important aspects of your career. Each time you imagine a new ideal workday, you refine your preferences and at the same time, you give yourself a taste of what the future can hold. This week, we're talking about how to practically access your inborn or your internal guidance, especially the guidance from your physical body. If this sounds too far out of your comfort zone, I invite you to stay with me and hear me out. I'm not going to be talking about anything spiritual or doing any complicated rituals. These tools are basic and practical, much like the breathing exercise we just went through. The inner guidance we'll be discussing today isn't something esoteric, spiritual, or magical. What I'm talking about is the internal GPS we all arrive on this planet equipped with. These are signals that we were born with that help us navigate our way through the world. You may not be aware of this part of yourself, but it's still there. You may have even been taught to override or numb it out, or to only use your cognitive mind to make decisions. And while the cognitive mind is one aspect of your guidance, your mind is integrated and works in concert with your body as a whole system. Research is revealing how closely knit all of our physical systems really are, and that the body isn't just here to support and move our brains around. Your body is one cohesive unit, and everything in it works together. So let's get into the basics of how the system works. First, the system is translated through nonverbal communication. It's physically felt. And you're probably familiar with some basic cues. Yawning and feeling sleepy are cues that you need to sleep. A rumbling in your stomach is a cue that you need to eat. And if you don't think you have the system inside of you, ask yourself, how do I know when I need to pee? I know it's crude, but it makes the point for many people. Unless you have a medical condition, you probably feel a sensation when your bladder is full. And when you feel the sensation, I doubt you have to call a friend for advice about what the signal means. You just translate the signal and take action. If you decide to override the cue, the sensation will get stronger. And if you ignore the cue for too long, you could end up in an embarrassing or painful situation. These physical cues tend to be small and quiet in the beginning, and they grow with intensity over time. You can choose to ignore the information, but at some point, you're going to need to deal with it. The same concept is true for the rest of the physical cues available to you. Our navigational sensations go far beyond just hunger and sleep. They can warn you of danger and help you decide a question. These cues can include a shiver up your spine or an uneasy feeling. It can also include a wave of relief or a warm feeling in your chest. These are all the types of signals and cues I'm talking about. And I'm going to insert a disclaimer here. None of the physical information you receive is a rule that must be obeyed. You aren't beholden to your body's cues. It's simply information to include in your decision-making process. And if you've had a challenging past, it may take some time and consistent work to recalibrate your cues. And if that doesn't happen, it's okay. Remember, the best decisions include many factors, not just one. But this information is special because it comes from your own guidance and not from an external source. Second, the system isn't directed by our cognitive or our rationalizing mind, the mind we discussed in week 3. You can think logically that you shouldn't be hungry because you just ate breakfast 2 hours ago, but if your body needs nutrients, it will send a hunger signal regardless of what you think should be happening. You might not want to be sleepy because you have a project due and you need to work late, but if your body needs rest, it will send you a signal that you need sleep. If you're used to overriding or ignoring this information, you may be missing important cues that could help you avoid problems or struggles in the future. If trusting your body seems like a foreign concept, consider starting really small and testing it out, the same way you'd build trust with any new friend. And because this type of inner guidance is physically felt, it's best understood with a physical experience and not just a lecture. So I'm going to combine my explanations and the exercises this week. If at any time any of this feels too overwhelming or if you feel emotionally flooded, please take care of yourself and stop or step away from it for a while and come back when you're ready. Most of the exercises this week will ask you to focus on your physical sensations. If you're like me and you have trouble focusing on your body and writing down your notes at the same time, it might be helpful to record yourself answering out loud while you listen to this audio. Once you've completed the exercises, you can go back and jot down your answers. As usual, I've included worksheets for all of the exercises in the transcript if that helps you organize your work. One way you can start tapping into your body-based information system is with a simple body scan. As you do this exercise, take care to stay focused on your body's sensations and not the words from your mind. You can tell if you're reporting from your cognitive mind versus your body because the cognitive mind will use a lot of big words and explanations. Your body usually uses simple and descriptive words like warm, cold, itchy, or numb. And if you want to capture your answers verbally, now is a good time to hit record. To start, tune in to how you physically feel, just like we do in the breathing exercise. It doesn't matter if your eyes are open or closed, just take a deep breath and bring your awareness into your physical body. Now, take another deep breath and notice what you feel happening in your body. What are the actual sensations? Are you tensed or relaxed? Are you hot? Are you cold? Do you feel energized or exhausted? Or maybe you're somewhere in between. Just take a few minutes now to see what your body feels like. Great. The second exercise is an in-depth body scan. This time, we want to take a more detailed look. So go ahead and take another deep breath and bring your attention to the top of your head. You can do this with your eyes open or closed, whatever feels best for you. And if you want to capture your answers verbally, now is a good time to hit record. Notice the sensations on your head. Are you tensing the skin on your scalp? What about your face? Are your eyes tight or relaxed? Are you furrowing your brow or is it loose? What about your neck? Are you holding tension there or does it feel relaxed? Now move down to your shoulders and back. What sensations do you feel? What about your torso? Are you holding in your gut or your rib cage? Are you physically hunched over or in an upright position? Is there a knot in your stomach? Or does it feel free? Or something else? During any of this, if you don't feel anything, that's okay. And if something feels numb, that's also worth noting. Now bring your attention to your arms and your hands. Do they feel loose, or are you clenching your fists? Are your hands hot, or are they cold? Now move down to your hips. What sensations do you feel? How about your thighs, your knees, and your shins? Are your legs moving around a lot? Do they feel numb, or do they feel like something else? What about your feet? Are they tingling or have sharp pains? Do they feel warm or cold? Now bring your awareness back to your breathing. Is it shallow or deep? Is it rapid or slow? Can you feel your heart beating? If so, is it racing or slow and steady? Now take one more minute and see what other sensations you feel in your body. Great. You can open your eyes if they're closed and come back into the present moment. Again, if this practice of tuning into your physical body is new for you, it can take some practice to untangle some of the old messages. But with practice, you can learn to read your body with as much speed and accuracy as you read your fuel gauge on your vehicle. The next exercise goes a little deeper, and it's a tool from one of my mentors, Martha Beck, called the Body Compass. This tool allows you to get a baseline of what your body cues and sensations are in positive, neutral, and negative situations. This information can help you start paying attention to how you feel in different situations and learn to trust what your body is telling you. The Body Compass can also be really helpful in stressful situations like job interviews. Let's say you apply for what seems like your dream job, but something in the interview process just doesn't feel right. Maybe they're really pushy and they want you to make a decision right away, but your body feels hesitant and you have a pit in your stomach. This is a physical sign that can help you. This uneasiness could be prompting you to look for more details or ask around for more information. And it might help you resist signing an offer on the spot and ask for more time to think about the decision. For many of us, we can think of a time when we knew something was off in a situation, but we ignored our gut instinct and we did it anyway, only to regret it later. Learning to use your body compass can help you know what your signals mean and give you a way to organize your physical sensations so you can make better decisions. For this exercise, we're going to use a scale that goes from -10 on the left to +10 on the right, with 0 in the middle. During the exercise, I'll have you imagine 3 scenarios: one unpleasant event, one positive event, and one that's neutral. I'll ask you to notice the feelings in your body during each scenario, and when we're done, you'll have a physical inventory of how your body feels when it's giving you a warning, when you're headed in the right direction, and when you're on a neutral path. We'll go through the unpleasant event first, then the neutral event, and we'll end on a good note with the positive event. Again, if at any point any of this feels too overwhelming, please take care of yourself and stop or step away from it and come back to it when it makes sense for you. If you want to capture your answers verbally, now is a good time to hit record. To begin, take a deep breath and think of an unpleasant event. We won't stay here very long, and I want you to choose something that's no more than a -6 or -7 on the scale. This doesn't need to be traumatic, just negative enough so you can get a clear read on your body cues. Now I want you to close your eyes and go back in time and put yourself back in that moment. Now let's go through your body compass together from head to toe. I'll be right here with you and I'll walk you through each step. Take a deep breath and notice the top of your head and your scalp. What does it feel like? What about your face? Are your eyes relaxed or tight? Are you furrowing your brow or is it loose? As you experience this uncomfortable situation, what about your neck? Are you holding tension or does it feel relaxed? Now notice your shoulders. What sensations do you feel? How about your back and your torso? Are you holding in your rib cage or is it loose? Are you physically hunched over or in an upright position? What about your stomach? Does it feel tight or free? Now, as you remember this uncomfortable event, bring your awareness to your arms and your hands. Do they feel loose or are you clenching your fists? Are your hands hot or cold? What else is happening? Now notice the sensations in your hips. What do they feel like? How about your thighs and your hamstrings? What about the sensations in your knees? How do your calves and shins feel? Are your legs moving around a lot? Do they feel numb? Or do they feel like something else? What about your feet? Do they tingle or have sharp pains? Are they moving or still? Do they feel warm or cold? Or do they feel like something else? As you remember this uncomfortable event, notice your breathing. Is it shallow or deep? Is it rapid or slow? Can you feel your heart beating? Is it racing or even? Notice if you feel any other sensations anywhere else in your body. Good. You can go ahead and shake that off. Take a deep breath and open your eyes if they were closed. If you need a break, you can pause the recording and come back when you're ready for the next step. The next step is a neutral event. I want you to think of an event that is neutral and ordinary. Again, I want you to close your eyes and put yourself back in the exact moment it happened, and let's go through the body compass together. I want you to take a deep breath and notice the top of your head and your scalp. In this neutral scenario, what does it feel like? What about your face? Are your eyes relaxed or tight? What about your jaw? Are you furrowing your brow or is it loose? As you remember this neutral event, notice what's happening in your neck. Are you holding tension or does it feel relaxed? What about your shoulders? What sensations do you feel? How about your back and your torso? Are you holding your rib cage in or is it loose? Are you physically hunched over or upright? And what about your stomach? Does it feel tight or free? What else do you notice in your torso? As you imagine this neutral event, what about your arms and your hands? Do they feel loose or are you clenching your fists? Are your fingers hot or cold? What else is happening in your arms and hands? Now I want you to notice your hips. What do they feel like? How about your thighs and your hamstrings? What sensations do you feel in your knees, if any? What about your calves and your shins? Do they feel tight or numb or hot or something else? What about your feet? Are they tingling or do they have sharp pains? Are they moving around a lot or are they still? Are they warm? Are they cold? And in this neutral event, I want you to notice your breathing. Is it shallow or deep? Rapid or slow? Can you feel your heart beating? Is it racing or slow and steady? Notice if you feel any other sensations in your body. Great. Now you can go ahead and shake that off, take a deep breath, open your eyes. Again, if you need a break, pause the recording and come back when you're ready for the next step. For the last scenario, I want you to imagine a good event, something around a 6 or a 7 on the body compass scale. Not the most ecstatic thing you've ever felt, but something really pleasant so you can get a good reading of your body cues. Once you have the event in mind, I want you to put yourself back in that exact moment that it happened, and let's go through the body compass together. As you envision this very positive event, I want you to take a deep breath and notice the top of your head and your scalp. What does it feel like? What about your face? Are your eyes tight or relaxed? Are you furrowing your brow or is it loose? Now, as you remember this very positive event, take notice of what your neck feels like. Are you holding tension or does it feel relaxed? Now notice your shoulders. What sensations do you feel? How about your back and your torso? Are you holding in your rib cage or is it loose? Are you physically hunched over or in an upright position? What about your stomach? Does it feel tight or free? And as you remember this very positive event, notice your arms and hands. Do they feel loose or are you clenching your fists? Are your hands hot or cold? What else is happening? Now notice your hips. What do they feel like? How about your thighs and your hamstrings? What about your knees, your calves, and your shins? Are your legs moving around a lot? Do they feel numb or do they feel like something else? And what about your feet? Do they tingle or have sharp pains? Are they moving or still? Do they feel warm or cold? And as you remember this very positive event, what about your breathing? Is it shallow or deep? Is it rapid or slow and calm? Can you feel your heart beating? If so, is it racing or slow and steady? Now notice if you feel any other sensations in your body. Great. You can go ahead and shake that off, open your eyes, and if you need to get up and move around, feel free to pause the recording and come back when you're ready. So now that you've gone through the three scenarios, what did you notice overall throughout that exercise? Was there a general trend you saw? For example, is your body generally tight and closed in when you think about a bad event? Is it more open and expansive when you think about a good event? What were the overall specific physical sensations you noticed in each scenario? And what did you learn about your body cues? Sometimes it's helpful to do this exercise more than once to get a good read, but hopefully this exercise gives you new understanding about what your body does when it's heading in a negative direction and what it feels like when it's moving in a positive direction. If you've recorded your verbal reactions, I encourage you to go back and jot them down so you have them for future reference. If you had trouble feeling sensations in your body, that's okay. That's still information. Nothing is wrong with you. You may just be tuning it out. Give it time and be patient. Start by noticing small things throughout your day. Know that you don't have to have a complete body compass filled out to get the benefit. The point is to start paying attention to the kind and caring signals your body sends you through the day so you can take care of yourself and make good decisions. I also want you to notice if you struggle between how you should feel in a situation and what your body is actually telling you. For example, if you feel like you should be elated when you receive a promotion, but instead you feel a sinking feeling in your gut, that sinking feeling is worth investigating. You may need some help sorting out what it means, or you may know in your bones that you really don't want that promotion, even though you think you should. Again, that sinking feeling isn't a law to be obeyed. You get to choose what you're going to do. But now you have more information. If you decide taking the promotion is your best course of action, now you know that you may need to mitigate the downsides of the position or stay alert to potential problems. If you feel comfortable noticing your physical sensations, You can begin to use them as a type of litmus test. Your body's cues are unique to you, and you need to get to know yours specifically. But here are some generalities that might help you get started. The body's navigational North Star or path forward often feels good physically. Your physical body will often have sensations that feel energized, expansive, or have a physical lightness to them. The body's warning signs usually feel bad physically, like you do when you're in a fight or flight state. Your body may try to curl up to protect itself or raise your shoulders to protect your neck. You might feel constricted, tense, heavy, or drained. You might get a sinking feeling in your stomach or a feeling of revulsion. You may even feel the hair stand up on the back of your neck. These are all common warning signs from your body that give you the signal there's something to pay attention to. Next, we'll look at some tools that use the body compass and your body sensations to help you get information on a decision you're trying to make. We'll walk through them together so you can get familiar, and then you can test them out this week to see which one makes the most sense for you. If one resonates more than the other, that's perfectly fine. Or if you like using all of them together, that works too. The point is to find a practical way to organize the information you're receiving from your body so you can use it to double-check your decisions. It's like having a wise mentor you can bounce ideas off of, but it's even better because it's with you all the time. The first tool is to see if your body expands and opens up when you think about a particular outcome, or if your body feels like it contracts or curls in. To try it out, choose a decision you need to make. I suggest picking a small decision that doesn't have long-term impacts to practice with. I don't want you to start out with a huge life-changing decision, so something like what time you're going to bed tonight. Now I want you to imagine the outcome of your decision. Does it feel like your body contracts and closes down, or expands and opens up when you think about it? Depending on your body cues, the feeling of expansion often signals it's a positive thing, and contraction typically means it's a negative thing, but you need to experiment and see what happens for you. Another tool I learned from Martha Beck is called the swimming pool. For this exercise, I want you to imagine in your mind that it's a very hot, sticky, muggy day. You walk to the edge of the pool and you see clean, cool, beautiful water. As you get in, I want you to notice how good it feels to get into the crystal clear water and feel refreshed. Now, I want you to imagine that same hot, sweltering day. You walk to the edge of the pool and you see that it's full of sludge and toxic waste. I want you to notice how your body pulls back in revulsion. In the same way, your body may give you a sensation and pull toward the right decision for you, but feel a revulsion towards the wrong decision for you. To use this tool, when you're making a decision, imagine the outcome. Do you feel the relief of the cool, clear, refreshing water, or the revulsion of a toxic waste pool? As you practice noticing and listening to your body's information, you'll learn to translate the signals and include it in your decision-making process. I like to use it as a double check. Before I go asking a friend or a partner for their advice, I'll stop myself and check in with what my own body has to say on the subject. Most of the time, the answer is so clear, I don't need to ask anyone else. I just make the decision and move on. And just a quick note, if you're feeling uneasy about trusting your body or yourself, we'll talk through that in a few minutes. The last tool can help if you feel lost about what you want to do for work, but you don't know where to begin. Because as much as your body alerts you to danger, it also has physical responses to what you like, including the work you're interested in. The things you're curious about, that you get excited about, or you prefer, all show up as physical sensations in your body. If you don't know in your cognitive mind what you want to do, look for your body cues. To start, take note when you see something that grabs your attention. This could be on social media, in a store, or in a conversation. Anywhere you notice that your interest is piqued. Notice what's happening in your body. You might notice you perk up, sit up straight, or feel excitement. These are all clues to what lights you up and has your interest. It may not be the exact thing that you end up doing for work, but starting to notice what you're interested in will lead you in the right direction. The one thing that can derail this exercise is dismissing the possibility of something just because your brain doesn't think it's feasible right now. Brains are efficient, and if it can't see how something is going to work out right away, it will shut down the thought process to save energy. For this practice, try to stay open to the insight even if it doesn't seem practical right now. Just take it as information, much like a game of warm or colder. The other thing that can happen is that you have many interests. If you start following what you're interested in and it turns out that you have a lot of interests, jot them down and start looking for the trends. You can also pay attention to how strong your physical responses are. You might find that you have lots of interest, but some have an especially strong specific reaction. Once you feel comfortable reading what your body cues mean, we can take the next step and use that information to help you make more complex decisions. To do this, go back to the exercises you completed in week 1 and grab a blank body compass worksheet available in the transcript. Next, plot out where your answers from the week 1 exercises land on your body compass. For example, if you like being in nature, imagine yourself out in your favorite spot and notice how it feels in your physical body. Now rate it on a scale of -10 to +10 on your body compass. Then jot the activity down on a scale like I have here in the example. I want you to do this for each exercise, but plot them all on the same scale so you can see everything together. When you're done, you can see what trends and patterns start emerging, and this can help you make decisions. The next step narrows down your focus and applies your internal guidance to your practical daily life. This is another exercise I learned from Martha Beck called the 3 Bs. The idea here is to increase the activities that feel good and give you energy, and reduce or mitigate the ones that cause stress or drain your energy. As you start to apply this to your daily life, you'll notice you gradually have more and more energy to use for things you really want to do in life, like have a better career. The 3 Bs are bag it, barter it, and better it. Bag it means you can just stop doing it. It's a lot like the stop doing list we made last week. If you can't bag it, can you barter it? Can you find a way to trade someone or find a way to automate it? And for the things that you must do for yourself, how can you make it better while you're doing it? To do this exercise, make a list of all the activities you do every day and plot them on your body compass. Once you have them laid out on your body compass, look at everything that falls below the 0 mark on the scale. Then list out these activities in a table or a piece of paper. Now, go through and decide which ones you can simply stop doing. Just put an X or write bag it beside them. For the ones that need to get done, decide which ones you can barter or automate. You can even jot down a few ideas of ways you could trade with someone or automate it. And for the things you have to do, write down a few ideas about how you can make it better while you're doing it. This is the exercise where many of my clients start to see tangible change in their daily lives. It can feel like the fog lifting and give you some practical hope that things can get better for you. As usual, there are a few common mind traps I've noticed when clients are learning how their body guidance system works. You know you're in a trap because you feel stuck there. Mind trap number 1 is I don't trust myself. I think the most important thing to know is that trust and confidence are skills you build over time. In the same way you build trust with another person, you can build trust and confidence in yourself with practice. Even if you don't feel confident right now, that's a quality you can change. It's also worth taking into consideration that there are many people who want you to doubt yourself so that they get to make decisions that benefit them but may not benefit you. Sometimes this is unintentional and sometimes it's more explicit, like marketing campaigns that are designed to erode your trust so you'll see them as the expert and buy their product. When you lose confidence in yourself, and we all do, ask yourself this question: what am I confident about? Sometimes it's helpful to start with small things outside yourself. Are you confident the sun will rise? Do you trust in your ability to breathe? Are you confident that you can make a cup of coffee? And do you trust that you have good intentions? When you lose confidence, make a list of all the things you are confident about and be patient with the process of building trust in your ability to read your body cues and make decisions. And it's okay to be uncertain in the beginning. This is a new skill, and uncertainty is a normal part of the learning process. Just think back to anything you've learned and remember how your confidence in your ability grew over time. Trusting in yourself is no different. Mind trap number 2 is gut instincts are unreliable. And if you haven't taken the time to learn how they work, I would agree that gut instincts, and intuition for that matter, seem unreliable. The problem isn't the messages from your body, it's that you don't speak your body's language. Like any language, you have to learn the system in order to understand it and use it effectively. There are absolutely nuances in your body's language, and to be proficient, you need to be able to differentiate between an instinctive urge, your social programming, your default habits, and trauma responses from your inner wisdom. The more you're able to take time and listen and practice with your body cues, the more proficient you'll be in your body's language and the more accurate you can be at interpreting what the signals mean. Also remember that your body cues are only one layer of information. It's a signal, not a demand. Gut instincts and body cues are absolutely worth listening to, but it's only a piece of the whole decision-making process. One trend I see when people learn about their body compass is that they go to extremes and use it as a scapegoat or a way to avoid taking responsibility for making a decision. Saying my body compass made me leave my job is no different than letting a parent, partner, or divine being decide your life for you. Remember that you are in a position of leadership. You are not following orders. Your body cues are there to give you information. They're an advisor, not a decision maker. All this is to say, when you make a decision, own it. If you don't want to do something, say no. If you aren't ready to do something, say thank you for thinking of me, but I can't do that right now. Whatever you do, don't give away your power by blaming your body compass or your body cues for the decisions you make. Use it as information, but maintain your position as CEO of your career. I hope the information and tools I've shared with you today give you a way to organize and use the innate knowledge you've felt deep down. I encourage you to test it out and give yourself time to learn how your unique system works so you can add it to your decision-making toolkit. Listening to your body cues can help you avoid making unconscious decisions based on what other people think you should be doing, only to end up angry and frustrated 20 years later. So let's get you set up for the week with a clear plan of action. This week, I want you to focus on paying attention to your physical body and the cues it's giving you throughout the day. I also recommend that you continue reading the quick morning emails to help you integrate what you're learning and do at least 1 minute of the breathing exercise every day. As always, you can find all of the research, diagrams, and exercises I've mentioned today in the transcript that's available for download anywhere you're listening to this. Next week, we'll talk about how to determine which part of your mind is driving your decisions, your inner guidance, or your instincts, and it dovetails nicely with the work you're doing this week. As we wrap up, I want to share a secret with you that may help you stay motivated through the process. When you improve one area of your life, there's an echo effect on the rest of your life. When you transform your career, you'll see positive effects start to happen in your relationships, your family, and the people around you simply because you are reaching for what you want most. Most of all, I want you to keep going. Finding the career you want is absolutely possible for you. I'll talk to you next time.